Okay, and now we're going to go to voices from the lockdown. Remember, right through the lockdown here in India today, we've been your channel to voice your anxiety, voice your worries, voice what's disturbing you, keeping you up at night. And now with Prime Minister Modi all set to extend India's lockdown by at least 2 more weeks tomorrow, possibly with some changes, but we don't know what those are yet. You've been flooding us with your concerns and anxieties, and over the next 20 minutes, I am putting those on air here on Voices from the Lockdown. And Ankit Tyagi is with me as always. He's our man who is plugged into the system, who's listening to your voices, who's filtering through your requests, your worries, your anxieties, and giving you actionable advice, or at least something to make you feel a little better. Ankit, thanks for being with me here on Voices from the Lockdown. Let's kick it off with some voices that we've been getting from Delhi.
The lockdown gets extended and I feel the economy is going to be heavily impacted. A lot of people have fled to their hometowns and it's going to be difficult for them to get their jobs back. And even the trade between different nations and cities is going to be affected.
If lockdown is extended any further, it is need of the hour. Everyone should follow it in the interest of country with all sincerity and patience. And they should also follow all the instructions issued by government authorities very, very strictly.
लोगों का मेंटल हेल्थ, लोग काफ़ी डिप्रेशन में जाने वाले हैं, अनसिक्योर फील करेंगे और पैनिक सिचुएशन क्रिएट होगा. लोग तो कोरोना से मरे ना मरे, लोग अपने डिप्रेशन से काफ़ी अपना हेल्थ बहुत ज़्यादा बिगड़ जाएगा उनसे.
Everything suggests that the lockdown is going to get extended. It's going to be extended by a few weeks for sure, and it's very understandable, and I can understand the compulsion of the government to do so. Every company will have a problem with the cash reserves to take care of the salaries for the next month. I don't see many companies sitting with that kind of cash reserve that can take care of salaries for April and beyond. So how do we tackle that?
Ankit, the one point, we'll deal with the mental health issues in a short while later in the show, but I want you to answer this one question, Ankit, because this affects so many millions, employers and employees. Employers have been saying we have buffer cash reserves to pay our employees for a month, but if this thing gets extended, this lockdown gets extended, where are we going to find the money from? And that's why even employees are very anxious now.
Absolutely, and these are of course anxieties which need to be answered, and tomorrow the Prime Ministership is going to in fact address the nation, and we are hoping that there will be more clarity as far as a few of these questions are. But let me tell you what we know so far, what we have picked up from various states and from our sources. Most states have in fact said for the next 2 weeks, although there is a general consensus across the country that the lockdown should be extended to the 30th April, but most states are now grading their response. So there could be few important industries, like the food processing, agriculture sector, pharmaceuticals, all those and related industries, especially in the zones which are not badly affected, which could start functioning. There has been a plan which has been submitted by the CII, FICCI and other industry bodies to the government. We are also expecting that in a day or two there is going to be an announcement as far as the relief measures for MSMEs and small business owners is concerned. So that is going to in fact answer a few questions and bring some relief to all these queries about how do we pay rent, how do we pay our workers. So there is another set, or in lockdown 2.0, a set of relief measures that the government is going to announce, both in terms of easing it for the production to restart and also some economic relief measures.
Hopefully those will kick into place very fast, because I can tell you that especially small business employers, they're simply wondering how can we afford to do this, and even business continuity after the lockdown is lifted is going to be affected if people simply don't have their employees anymore. Ankit, more voices coming in now from Noida and Ghaziabad, the suburbs of Delhi. Take a look.
जब लॉकडाउन खत्म होगा, जब कोरोना का कहर खत्म होगा, तब हम एक नई चिंताओं से घिरे होंगे, और वो है जॉब मार्केट. जॉब मार्केट पूरी तरह से क्रैश हो चुका है. मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा चिंता इस बात की होती है कि जब सब कुछ सही होगा तब जॉब मार्केट का क्या होगा? वेल, कंपनीज अभी से 30% का कट डाउन शुरू कर चुकी हैं, लेकिन इन्फ्लेशन में कोई कमी नहीं है। हमारे सर पे वो EMI, बच्चों की फीस, रेंट एंड ऑल दीज थिंग्स सब 3 महीने बाद ही सही सर पर तलवार की तरह लटक रही है।
My school is closed due to coronavirus. My school is taking online classes, but it's not fun to study online. I am missing all the messy with my friends. I can't even go to park and play with my friends.
I am bit worried about my studies. I miss my friends and school. I can't even play my friends the next door, but the need of the hour is to stay home and stay safe.
You know, Ankit, we were talking about this. You can take these one by one. One, employers and employees right now is one thing. People entering the job market and wondering about, once this lockdown is lifted, are there going to be any jobs at all? They're scared about what it's going to be like once the lockdown is actually lifted. And the second thing, young school children wondering what kind of existence this is, where they can't even go to school, meet their classmates, and they're forced to study online.
These are specific anxieties, and Shiv, you have a daughter. I mean, of course, her session has begun, and I'm sure she's also facing the same anxieties of not being able to go to their classroom. It's an exciting time for them when the new session begins. But yes, the world post-coronavirus is going to change. There will be some changes that we will have to make in our day-to-day lives. What we are picking up specifically on terms of schools is that if there is a gradual and a sharp decrease as far as coronavirus is concerned, then possibly the classes are going to resume earlier. So a July session, schools which usually used to open from July may open in June, but that will all depend on the situation as we move forward, after the lockdown, what is the situation, so and so forth. So all these questions would only be answered then. Apart from that, the job market is going to be a big worry. It's just not about India, but all across the globe. IMF, the World Bank, all are coming up with studies after studies, how they are projecting, from 1.5 to 2.5% deduction in the GDP across the globe. So it is going to hit the markets very, very hard. We'll have to brace for it. There are economic measures that the government is looking at. But remember, India was already at a very precarious stage when it comes to the job market and overall employment scenario.
That's right.
This coronavirus crisis has made it only harder. We can only hope that once the restrictions are lifted, the atmosphere is conducive, there would be a lot of demand will be generated domestically as well. And that is going to kickstart the engine of the economy along with the employment market.
And I know that Ankit's words are going to come as cold comfort to those who are expecting some kind of, immediate bounce back after the lockdown. But as Ankit has very realistically said, it's going to be a slow process. The jobs market was already in the trash can before this happened. Things were not hunky-dory before the corona crisis. So patience, a little bit of understanding that things are going to be difficult going forward, and we will update you on the job market front as well. Lots of voices, a huge number of voices we always get every week, Ankit and me, from Mumbai and Pune. Remember, Maharashtra is the worst affected state right now in the country.
My worry about post-corona is about the finances. That's the biggest worry I have about the finances. So, how we are going to run our house is a person. I am not a housewife only. I have been throughout my life. I have been a business person, and people like us with a small business, how we are going to generate the money? Though we want to pay our support staff full salary, but from where the funds are going to come?
People on the ground are not able to get the ration. And the basic amenities and the food which they are ordering from the government helpline as well. I have been very closely working with an NGO to cross-check how much amount of things are getting delivered at the place, and the situation is not that overwhelming. Across the state of Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, I can speak for that, in Pune, Mumbai and mostly Indore, the medicines are not available to the people. Even the basic medicines are not getting supplied due to the transportation blockage.
Ankit, so the issue of essentials and medicines, we've been through this first 3-week lockdown where things have improved day on day, but obviously there are still some concerns. In this extended lockdown 2.0, are lessons going to be learned? Is it going to be easier?
where we are hoping that there is a full review of the mistakes that were made and we can learn from that very quickly, because, you know, it's a very real crisis that we are living in, Shiv. And a lot of people, despite the efforts, and specifically as the gentleman was also saying, move away from the metros, there is a problem. Like in the state of Madhya Pradesh, where there is still a problem as far as the government is concerned, there is no cabinet. All these issues are being faced by the people. We are hoping that once the restrictions are eased in lockdown 2.0, all indications are it will not be as stringent in terms of economic activity, then possibly the things are going to streamline further. But yes, you know, at this point of time, the only thing that can be done is if you are facing any trouble, please call the helpline departments of various states. You can get in touch with your local collector, and in cases, worst cases, if you can't get through anybody, dial 100. That is the number that is going to pull through. Possibly in most places, the police these days are in fact working apart from lockdown duty in supplying essential commodities as well in extreme cases.
Okay, so hopefully things will get better. I completely understand that with the number of hotspots, you know, rising. Ankit had broken that story here on India Today. The number of hotspots designated in Delhi had actually almost doubled in number. So the supply and delivery of essentials right to people's doorsteps is proving to have a lot of teething problems. Hopefully those will be ironed out as we enter lockdown phase 2. We've got one voice coming in from Bengaluru as well.
What worries me most is the mental health of millions of old people and of parents whose children have moved out to bigger cities. There is very little online service support system in those towns. On top of that, there is a trauma associated with even the smallest health worries during these times.
Ankit, you know, the vulnerability of senior citizens and old people who live alone has been a constant, you know, point of concern right through Voices from the Lockdown. Obviously, this is something that has not been completely resolved just yet because of the lockdown itself. Are there going to be any calibrated changes that will allow people to go back to their aging parents or the movement of aging people to their families, or is that not going to happen?
Well, Shiv, what we know so far, public mass level transportation is not going to be allowed, because that is what the government is extremely wary of. In specific cases, if your you know, elderly parent somewhere, if they are suffering from some disease or there is a medical emergency, only then you can sort a special permission from the local SDM. They will give you in writing a letter, and that can act as a curfew pass which you can go through if you have your own vehicle. But largely, there are going to be curbs that are going to remain as far as you know, public transport is concerned, be it rail, be it airways, or in fact road. I just want to tell our viewership, next time whenever we do this lockdowns, we are in fact in the process of compiling a list of city by city few NGOs, those who are helping people as far as the you know, mental anxiety and depression and other issues are concerned. Next time we promise we'll put out these numbers so that people can reach out to specific NGOs, those who can possibly help them out.
I'm sure that will be very, very useful information. All of it will be here on India Today. Ankit and his team will be putting out that information. So as you keep watching India Today, you'll have all of those details. We'll put it on our website for you as well. Ankit, more voices coming in from other parts of the country. We've got voices coming in from Chandigarh, from Patna, from Gangtok, and elsewhere. Take a look.
If the lockdown extends, my major concern will be about the industries manufacturing non-essential goods, because they will still be incurring their day-to-day expense in the already suffering economy. That will make them non-profitable.
My uncle, he supplies milk, and he sees so much of his milk being wasted daily, like 200 liters around, and people don't buy milk as a precaution against the coronavirus infection. So his savings are also over. There are many people like him running small business. What about them? What about their future?
Farmers are left stranded with vegetables and fruits in the field. They are not able to bring it to the market. So what is government going to do regarding this issue?
Ankit, thank you very much for that. I noticed that all of the, most of the queries that have come in from other places have already been addressed on this show and previous shows of Voices from the Lockdown, and we're running short of time. But Ankit and I are going to continue with this. Remember, you can direct message us, both Ankit and me. You can find us very easily on Twitter. Send us your videos, send us your concerns. Prime Minister Modi speaks at 10 a.m. tomorrow, so we'll have much more data to help you out with once that announcement is made. Ankit, thank you very much for that.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.